Alright, good evening ladies and gents. Welcome back to Confound Interesting. I know it's been a while, but I'm back, and in today's video I want to share my top 10 NFTs that I'm going to be looking at during the bear market, because I think the best opportunity, or the highest risk and highest potential reward during the bear market, in my opinion, might be NFTs. So that's why I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on all the NFTs I'm going to mention, and also upcoming NFT drops. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get straight into the first pick. Right, so the first few NFTs that I'm going to mention are their kind of more established brands, the more expensive ones. So I'm just kind of rattle through them because they're a bit more obvious and they're lower risk, and then as we go on, we'll be going through like more cheap, not cheap, but more better value NFTs as we go down through the list. And probably the one I'm keeping the most eye on, I'm going to leave to the end, just so potentially you watch all the way through. So the first one that we're going to mention, of course, is CryptoPunks, and this is probably the lowest risk NFT in the entire NFT space. It was the first profile picture project, so it has that historical significance. Everyone always kind of wanted a CryptoPunk. Now, if you have 80 grand or whatever they are right at this moment lying around, like, it's probably the lowest risk bet you can make in the crypto space. But I also think you've kind of missed the absolute bottom, because they were only like 40 grand a couple of weeks ago, so they're actually on quite a bit of a bull run at the moment, kind of a bit of a jump at the moment. So maybe you could wait another year or two before you can ape back into that. But yeah, just before we move on to the next project, maybe I should say, like I don't think you need to rush into buying NFTs right now. I think everyone is kind of realizing the economy is going to take a while to come back on, or markets in particular are going to take a while to get back on. So there's no rush into buying these NFTs. Just have them on your radar, and when you feel comfortable, maybe you can pull the trigger. If you want to buy a few of one particular project that I mentioned, or any other project that I mentioned, obviously not financial advice, but you can kind of slowly average your way in over the next year or two. Like, I don't think you're in any huge rush, but I think there are great opportunities to get them extremely cheap. There will be, even now, but potentially even more so over the next year or two. But maybe the NFT space will boom in the next few months, who knows. And just to mention, if you can't afford a CryptoPunk, another option is a Meebit. So this is the 3D version of a CryptoPunk. And Gordon Goner as well, one of the creators of Yuga Labs, and Yuga Labs created Bored Ape Yacht Club. He tweeted this tweet basically saying, like, he wants to add some serious utility to Meebits. So that's why Meebits are kind of, they're not doing too badly at the moment, and it could be an interesting play if you want to get into the CryptoPunk ecosystem without needing 100 grand or whatever the price of a CryptoPunk is right now. I think Meebit is about 7 grand, so still a sizable bet to make. And yeah, they're not as cool as a CryptoPunk, let's be honest. They look a bit shit, so I wouldn't be buying one myself for the flex or anything, but maybe from a financial perspective they could be a bit of a play, just to keep an eye on them, and just to make you aware that maybe something is coming for Meebits in the near future. Now, next we're going to be talking about Bored Ape Yacht Club. Obviously shouldn't need to say too much about this. It's the #1 NFT brand in the entire space, and at the moment it's the most expensive. I think it's maybe 30% more than a CryptoPunk at the moment. But I'm assuming most people in here can't afford a Bored Ape Yacht Club, and the second best is kind of a Mutant Ape Yacht Club. So that's their like a mutant version of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and at the moment there's a ratio of 1 Bored Ape, original Bored Ape, is equal to 5 mutant Bored Apes, just in terms of ETH terms. However, this is quite low for mutants, so I think personally mutants are probably a better value. It's probably better financially to buy 5 mutants than to buy 1 OG Bored Ape at the moment. But some people want to just have the flex of having the real OG Bored Ape. But I think from a financial perspective, you get all the same benefits as having an OG ape by just having 1 mutant ape, and they're about 1/5 of the price at the moment. That's still a lot of money though for most people. So we can go down the list again in that ecosystem. We have the Bored Ape Dogs, the Bored Ape Kennel Club, and there's a lot of stuff on the Bored Ape roadmap that hasn't been released yet in regards to the dogs. So there's dogs have been pumping quite a lot, just in speculation of what's coming up on the roadmap, and none of it has happened yet, but it's just speculation, and it's just a lower entry if you're interested. And finally, the lowest entry for the second lowest entry for the Bored Ape ecosystem is Other Deeds, and that's their metaverse. And I think this is very, very interesting. They just had their metaverse exploration beta testing for everyone to jump in. Anyone who owned one of these NFTs could go in and explore their metaverse and play around in it, and it looks really, really good. And they have probably one of the best shots in the NFT space, definitely in the NFT space, but probably in the world as well, of creating one of the most popular metaverses as far as we know at this time. So other deeds are about 3 Ethereum right now, which is only about 3 grand, 4 grand maybe, which is still a lot of money. But if you can't afford that, if that's too much of a jump for you, you can also of course buy ApeCoin, which you can buy as little or as much of it as you want if you want to be exposed to the Bored Ape ecosystem. Now let's move on to the third project. Right, so the next project is a Gary V project. This is VeeFriends. So if you can't, I don't even own a VeeFriend myself. I own 3 Series 2 VeeFriends. So there's 50,000 of them, and they're kind of the step below a normal VeeFriend, and they're relatively cheap at the moment. One VeeFriend is about $600 or $700 at this time, and it's about half an ETH, 0.5 Ethereum at the moment. I don't know whether you like or hate Gary Vaynerchuk. He's been right about a lot of things, and he's a hard-working entrepreneur, and he's a very successful entrepreneur. So you're kind of betting on him. It's obviously a very long-term play. He's a very long-term orientated mindset. But yeah, I definitely trust him. That's why I bought 3 of them. That's why I bought 3 VeeFriends. And just to mention, I might show you a little image. You can sort, I'd say, if you want to try and get a good deal on a VeeFriend Series 2, this is what I did. You can sort characters. There's like 250 characters. But for example, it takes a while to find a really good deal, but you can kind of keep clicking different characters and trying to find one each character until you find one where the cheapest NFT of a particular character, let's say, is 0.5 Ethereum, and the next cheapest NFT of that character is 1 or 1.2 Ethereum. Now, there's a lot more complicated stuff you can get into. Like, people who really know Gary V or follow his stuff will know which characters are the most sought after, but that's what I did to just increase my likelihood of getting a good deal, because no one really knows for sure which characters are the best. That's kind of the whole research that I did. I don't know Gary V that intimately to know exactly which character is the best. So if you do know, that's great for you, go for it. But that's just a little tip that I thought might be handy for you if you're interested in that. So let's move on to the next one. Right, so the next few are a little bit more speculative, but I really think they have really great teams and or really great creators. So that's why I'm invested in a few of them, and I think they have a good chance of surviving the bear market, because you always have to keep in the back of your mind, like, you can't just buy, well, if you're buying a blue chip NFT, you might be okay, but if you're buying lots of cheap NFTs, you kind of have to imagine that most of them will perform poorly, and maybe a couple of them, it's kind of like venture capital, a couple of them will make up for the rest doing really badly. That's kind of how you have to see it. So the 6th project I'm going to mention is Cool Man's Universe by Cool Man Coffee Dan. So this guy is an animator, kind of a comedian maybe. Yeah, mostly a cartoonist, animator kind of guy, and he puts up these videos on YouTube, and he has millions of subscribers and hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram and other social media platforms. So yeah, he's a successful guy. He released an NFT project. He's smart. He's like dedicated to the NFT project. At times the NFT project has absolutely boomed, and right now it's really, really crashed. And the reason it has crashed, which is actually quite a fair enough reason, I feel like they made a bit of a mistake. So they have their 10,000 Cool Man's Universe, and they decided to do babies for all the 10k NFTs. So just like in the way Bored Apes released Mutant Apes, so they released, every Bored Ape got one free Mutant Ape, and there was another 10,000 Mutant Apes that people could buy. Cool Man's Universe has kind of done the same thing, where they've allowed the 10,000 Cool Man's Universe holders to get a free baby specie or whatever it's called, and also for the public to buy the 10,000. But the project didn't even sell out, so I think there's only about 6,000 of the babies, and the babies are priced really, really cheaply at the moment, because at the moment, like, it's happened a few times where people have copied the Bored Ape to Mutant Ape idea of releasing more NFTs, but there hasn't been the demand for an extra 10 or 20,000 NFTs, and especially in a bear market, people don't, like, you know, diluting the brand or creating more NFTs hasn't worked out for a good few really top tier projects, including World of Women and I think a couple others I can't think off the top of my head, but it has actually Like say the price of one World of Woman was 1 Ethereum before the release, before you got your free World of Women Galaxy, the second NFT. Now the combined value of both those NFTs is like half an Ethereum. So it hasn't been good for a lot of projects trying to copy that in a bear market. So that's why Coolman's universe has taken quite a bit of a dump. But this means there could be an opportunity to buy one really cheap. And if this project survives, which I think it should, and I think Coolman Coffee Dan has a lot of things in the pipeline for this project and is solid, so could be worth the risk. And if you can't afford the Coolman's universe, which is like $300 maybe $400 at the moment, you can buy one of the babies right now, and they're super cheap. All right, quickly moving on to the next one. Just going to mention this one. It was one of my favorite projects as well. I love all these projects that I've mentioned in, by the way. Is Creeps. So this is like a project that has one of the best dev teams I've ever seen in the NFT space. Really smart team, successful in previous business experiences. So they're not really animators or creators like in that sense, but they had really good business experience and like tech experience. So they did all these kind of play to earn games and releasing more NFTs, and they basically created this unbelievable Ponzi where I minted one of these Creeps and it went like 300x and then crashed. But it was a really fun Ponzi. Lots of people got involved, and obviously we all eventually got wrecked. But the Creeps has actually been resilient, and the community, it has a great community, kind of a cult-like community, and the art is cool, and the team is very good. And that's kind of all I have to say about Creeps at this moment. Let's move on to the next project, because I don't want this video getting too long. Next one is another cheap one. It's the Nifty Portal. This is a group of YouTubers and Twitter personalities in the NFT space, and they do Twitter spaces every morning where they talk about NFTs, and it's the most popular Twitter space, or one of the most popular NFT Twitter spaces. And they have a project, and it's very cheap at the moment. It's like 0.2 Ethereum, and they have a lot of things coming up in the pipeline. But maybe if you know the guys, if you watch their videos, if you enjoy their videos, might be worth picking one of them up. All right, number 8 or number 9 or something like that is the Carton by Lyrical Lemonade. So this is kind of a utility NFT. So you get tickets to Lyrical Lemonade's concert. I forget the name of the concert, but they're going to be, or not even concert, music festival. So you get tickets for the VIP tickets for this music festival for the next 3 years. So that's some seriously good utility. Like most NFTs don't like to have utility, but this one's actually real utility. So it's by your man Cole Bennett, isn't it? Or whatever, the guy who runs Lyrical Lemonade. Like, he's a young guy, probably, early 20s or something, but has become really successful and has millions of views for his music videos. So he makes music videos for a lot of the top rap artists in the world, and I think even Justin Bieber, and like really successful music video director. So this is his project. It's kind of cool. Has utility, and they're probably going to be bringing more utility to it in the future. And the other great thing is there's only 500 of them, so a lot of people don't really know about the project. And like when this floor moves, it can move really fast. And obviously the inverse is true. It can go down quite well. It doesn't seem to go down super fast either, but it does drop slowly over time quite a lot. I think it peaks out at like 4 to 5 Ethereum, and now it's like almost 1 Ethereum. So if you're interested in this project, I'd recommend not just going out and buying the cheapest one. You can kind of make offers, make a collection offer, because it's likely that someone will accept the offer because there's so little liquidity. So people are likely to accept a lower ball offer than just you going and buying it. It might get you a bit cheaper if you actually want to go and get that NFT. All right, so we have 2 more. The next one is Neo Tokyo by Alex Becker and Elio Trades. It was a project that absolutely went insane, like a lot of projects did. So obviously these are like the 2 biggest crypto YouTubers in the entire world. They have like collective like 1.5 or 2 million subscribers between them, and they created this free NFT project. You just have to solve a lot of riddles to get the NFT, and obviously I didn't solve that, I was too lazy. But anyway, the project went to like 50 or 60 Ethereum, 70 Ethereum, some outrageous amount from a free mint, and now the top one is only like 7 Ethereum. So it's been and not even to mention that the price of Ethereum is absolutely created as well. So it's been a rough ride for anyone who bought the top on that one. But you don't have to have 7 Ethereum. There's the inner citizens, or the main one that I'll be showing on the screen right now. But there's also the lower ones, the outer citizens, and you can collect land. You can collect I forget the item cache, and with all the 3 different NFTs, you can create one of these outer citizen NFTs. So if you want to have a low bet, you can just collect 1 or 2 or 3 of the item caches or the land deeds to create a citizen. So another cheap entry into a kind of a blue chip NFT. If you're interested, if you like Alex Becker and Elio Trades, I think they kind of forgot about the project for a while, just kind of let it do its thing. And they're both busy guys, obviously, so it kind of has absolutely nuked and dumped on the holders. But yeah, I don't think they're going to completely forget about it. That would be very bad for their reputation, and I think they probably have some cool things lined up for it, so it could be a play. Alright, so the final project is Ethereum Name Service. So I put up a tweet that kind of explains what Ethereum Name Service will be, but essentially what it does is, instead of your wallet address being this 24 string of random characters, you can change it to be whatever you want .ethereum. But there's only, each of these is an NFT, and if I own compound interesting .eth, I'm the only one who can own that. So obviously rare ones like Starbucks.eth or Nike.eth, they fetch a high premium because people are speculating that Nike is going to want that Ethereum wallet address in the future, or Sam.eth. And some of these sales, I'll just show some of the sales that have happened in the previous 30 days or whatever, and they're all hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands to acquire these addresses. So some things I'm looking at are first names, last names, celebrity names, business names, and that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. People are going crazy for numbers as well, because obviously the numbers are even more scarce than letters. So there's only 0 to 9 as opposed to A to Z. So the floor for 3 numbers, because there's only 999 3-digit numbers, the floor for that is 30 Ethereum, and then the floor for 4 digits is 1.5 Ethereum. So I don't own any numbers, but yeah, kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't either. No one uses numbers for their username, but we'll see what happens. So I'm definitely going to be releasing a video on Ethereum Name Service. I want to do a bit more research on it, and I've made a few purchases and offers on some names. I'll probably be sharing that in the future video, so make sure you subscribe so you see that video. And if you did enjoy this video, I'd hugely appreciate it if you could smash the thumbs up button. Really hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Cheers.